Hello everyone, I'm Justice Graves and I'm currently running for school committee for the Narragansett Regional School District, and this video is going to start off one of my major priorities of my campaign, community outreach and transparency. In honor of that, this video is going to really be an open invitation for members of the community to reach out to me. My email is in the description. It is gravesjjh@gmail.com. That's gravesjjh@gmail.com. And I'm going to mention just a few people in the community who I've been seeing posting things online, posting things in different groups. I will also mention a few people in other areas of the town, administrations or in the town community who I feel like would be of interest for me to have an olive branch reached out to, and also just to highlight something else at the end of the video. So I've been seeing a lot of different concerns. I know that April Cover has been posting things. She's been watching heavily different things that are happening between Phillipston and Templeton and the school board, because currently that is coming up because this is budget season, so questions about the budget are very on point and very much fair game right now, especially for me and for anybody else that is currently in the running, and I will talk about who currently has seats up for grabs. But what I wanted to mention also was that one member of the community who I would like to extend an olive branch to and have a conversation with is someone who I see at town hall and at the district-wide meetings almost every single time one of these big budget issues comes up, because I don't think I've lived here and not had to deal with either sitting in an area waiting for my parents to finish voting for an override, or even I had to vote myself this year in an emergency district-wide meeting. So these issues come up quite frequently. It's, I would say, the thorn in the side of everything that happens in budget season as things sort of go throughout the year between the two town budgets, and how that sort of cooperates or does not cooperate. More often than not, there's no cooperation. So one of the members that I see every time have to stand up to the microphone and make her case is Mrs. Fuller, and I would like to offer an olive branch in order to have a conversation with her. And this is just sort of more out of respect for the fact that she's one of the only people that goes up to the microphone in defense of certain things that other people aren't willing to. That doesn't mean I necessarily agree with everything that she says. However, you can tell there's always tensions around these budget issues. There's always tensions at the town hall meetings. And I think it would be rather ignorant of me to not see people constantly put into these positions. Maybe they want to be in those positions, maybe they don't, and I quite often believe that they don't really want to be the person speaking up. It's not exactly a fun thing to do. So with regards to Mrs. Fuller, open olive branch if you would like to have a conversation with me. If you want to ask about how me being on the school committee would be different, my opinions would be different than any other person's that you've seen throughout the years, or even similar. Any questions you have, I would like to have an open conversation, because I feel like there are issues that go on in the school district or concerns when it comes to the budget, that maybe the other side doesn't hear very often, or maybe people are just very quick to dismiss. Now, it doesn't mean with this olive branch that I'm going to agree with everything that Mrs. Fuller says. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean she's going to agree with everything that I say. What it means is that these issues shouldn't become so tense that it comes to the last minute at a town hall meeting for people to make their case. It really should be more of a conversation where we sort of understand what the situation is going into it, instead of it becoming a very tense, hostile, and just not cooperative situation. Regardless of the town politics, I feel like we need to do better. I feel like our elected officials need to do better. And I feel like as somebody running in a campaign, I need to do well for myself. So that's how we're going to do this. So that's an open invitation. Open invitation also to April, because I've already talked about her in this. The select board, I've talked to some of the select board members. I've seen some of them over the past week. One of them I have to get back to in a text message, but Michael Currie, the chairman of the board, Bennett, if you the vice chairman, or Julie Richard is currently on the ballot. If they have any questions or no questions, olive branch extended, but I am talking to other people. And also the Phillipston Board of Selectmen. Most people don't understand this, but the school board is elected by the civilians of both towns, regardless if you are in the Templeton slot or if you are in a Phillipston slot. Everybody votes. That's just how the rules work in this particular circumstance. So obviously it would be inappropriate of me to not call on, what is going on, not call on, but to ask if members of the Phillipston community would like to communicate with me. I know one person is on the ballot this year. And we'll get into who is and who is not on the ballot for school committee this year in just a minute. But if the Phillipston's Board of Selectmen wishes to reach out and have an open and honest dialogue, that would be great. I have a dialogue at least with one member of the Templeton Select Board. I have a really good relationship, so that at least I can understand, even if I can't know specifics of what's going on, I can at least get an understanding of the feeling of the tension that's going on around budget season. And I feel like that can be very informative as to where decisions and where events are sort of leading in the town. And it also, like I said, again, with the Templeton community at large, they're important members as well. So the Phillipston Board of Selectmen, Telepciak, if you're the chair, questions, anything. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I am not going to hide from the public. I'm not going to hide from the other elected officials. I'm not going to sit, duck, and run. I want to get out front. I want to answer questions. I want to be challenged. I want to challenge. That's the whole point. So I'm going to talk about the Narragansett School Committee. I know Hughes is the chair. Trifilo is the vice chair. She is up for election. Her seat is up for election on May 17th. Chartier is up for election, Victoria Chartier, in the Phillipston side, so I'm not running against her. She's running against either by herself or she's running against people that pulled papers in Phillipston. Koziol is also someone whose seat is up on the ballot. There's also Marques, Mason, Mattson, and Robichaud. If any of those people have questions, if they have concerns about my, anything with respect to my positions, if they want clarifications on how I feel about something, that they can ask, because they are currently in positions of authority, so there are rules that dictate what they can and cannot talk about in the public sphere, especially with regards to policy versus politics. Again, open olive branch for a conversation, but also just an open challenge to this particular board, this particular school committee, because I am running for it. I currently do not know, besides myself, who else is on the ballot for the Templeton side, for the Templeton slots. I don't know if Rayanne Trifilo put her papers in. I don't know if Deborah Koziol had submitted her papers in, if everyone had gotten everything submitted on time. I don't know. If any member of the community knows who else is on the ballot with me at this point, that would be not interesting, but that would be worth knowing. I'm not going to hide. Even if I am, God forbid, well, not God forbid, but God willing, I am just by myself, not by myself on the ballot, but it becomes an easy campaign. That doesn't mean I'm going to shy away from the videos that I plan on doing. That doesn't mean I'm going to shy away from any of the olive branches that I have extended. And that does not mean that I am not going to be informative and relate to the public. So, not informative and relate to the public, but communicate and be accessible to the public. So that is it. And Dr. Christopher Casavant, I know as soon as this video goes up that you are going to get a notification, or you're going to be aware that it has, because I know that you have subscribed. So, open question. Are there any particular concerns that you would have with me running for school committee? Are there any burning questions? Is there any sort of gauntlet of questions, or gauntlet of expectations that you would have? And not necessarily expectations, but what would your interest be in? What would you be? I guess I'll just summarize it as, what questions do you have for me? I'm interested in that particular. Like I said, I'm not running away from questions. I'm not running away from people. This is why I'm doing this particular video as an olive branch to extend, to sort of call out people that I know are in the community, or to sort of just reiterate the fact that I am interested in answering questions, and again, to just say that I'm not hiding. I plan on doing videos. I also plan on accelerating maybe some of the videos with regards to my feelings on what is going on in the school board and in the town, because I know that that is heating up in some of the groups online where people are watching what's going on. And so I know those budget questions are becoming more interesting. So there's that. And that sort of ends sort of that community outreach portion in terms of the olive branches of people I would like to hear from. There's other people in the community that I saw that I had great conversations with, or great passing conversations with, that I will probably be talking to in the coming weeks, or reapproaching them in the coming weeks. And I know how to get in touch with them, so I'm not concerned about that. And again, parents, any parent concerned, any parent questions are always welcome. Now, on a lighter note, because I know that was, a little bit much. Not a little bit much, but just a little bit more drawn out. In certain videos, I'm also going to try and include music from members of the community, people that have graduated from Narragansett. Maybe they still live here, maybe they don't still live here. I already have somebody that I am going to include in the next video. The next video will have music from a local artist, and that video will be titled Common Sense in the Government. It's going to go under this same community outreach and transparency category that I have in terms of topics for my campaign. So I want to do that. I know Teresa Griffiths, because that's the person I need to answer some questions for, because she sent me a text message and a couple other things. She's currently on the Board of Selectmen. I'm not avoiding your question right now, Terry. I'm just doing a few other things and prepping a few other things right now. But I know that your daughter Gabby does music. I know there's a few other people in town that do music that are graduates from Narragansett. If they would like to be featured, if they'd like me to highlight them, I think it's good for the community. I think it's good for the parents to see that other people do stuff out in the community that's not just agriculture or the historical society or, the school district. And also, as somebody who a lot of people are going to bring up questions probably about, like, oh, well, you're more of a sports person. Well, I'm not truly in that category. I do have other, abilities as well. One of them is not music, so I would like to highlight music in the community just to sort of reiterate that, because I know all of the band people would be very... This isn't necessarily an appeal directly to the band, to band parents, but this is definitely an appeal to people in the community to say that, yes, I am listening to all walks. It's not just going to be me focusing on schooling, technology. It's not going to be me just focusing on issues when it comes to public policy. It's not just going to be me freaking out about, not freaking out, but being concerned about issues of, political importance within the town. It's going to be, I want it to be more than that. I want it to be a community outreach campaign where the people actually feel heard, where they feel highlighted, and they feel listened to. So I'm going to do that in the next video titled Common Sense in the Government. And again, email me at gravesjjh@gmail.com. Again, olive branch out to the community. And if you know people and parents who are interested, or if you know people who have music in town that would like to be highlighted, I'm not going to put full tracks on here. Obviously, I'm going to just highlight portions or things that I've communicated back and forth with those people on. Then feel free to share this video with them, and I think it would be cool for the community to know that they exist out there and to hear what they're up to, whether they like it or not. Because, again, community outreach, transparency, connecting with people, making them feel listened and heard is sort of the whole point of what I want to do with some of these, and I feel like focusing and bringing in members of the community is a great way to do that. And what they're doing is a great way to do that. So, thank you. I hope you have a great day. And there you have it.